Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Standout. Today, it's going to be me and you. And I wanted to do an episode that's just me, not bringing on a guest because, one, I like to take the mic sometimes, but also there's things that I specifically would like to share. And these are things that I'm currently learning. These are things that I am diving into. And today we're going to be talking about getting to work and putting your blinders on. Getting to work and putting your blinders on. Why do I want to talk about that? Because over the past couple years, I've struggled with a number of different things. Shiny object syndrome, laziness, not being focused and not having clarity. And a big component to me getting on track is my faith in Jesus Christ, and my faith and diligence in continuing to cultivate that relationship and seeing the fruit that it produces in my life. So diving right in, starting with getting to work, I'm going to be using two different books of the Bible to kind of explain these things, Ecclesiastes and Proverbs. So both of these books of the Bible were written by King Solomon. And King Solomon is regarded as the wisest person who's ever lived. When he was a child, when he became king, God came to him and said, "Hey, what shall I do for you?" And in the dream, Solomon said, "Lord, I ask you to give me wisdom so I know what to do with the things that you've called me to do, so I know how to run the kingdom." He could have asked for riches. He could have asked for notoriety. He could have asked for all of his enemies to be given into his hand, to be defeated by him. But no, he asked for wisdom, and God gave it to him because he asked for it. And this caused Solomon to increase in wealth, for his enemies to be given into his hand, and for all the nations surrounding him to basically come to him for wisdom. In the Bible, it talks about the Queen of Sheba, who was from a distant land, and she brought gold and silver and camels and spices and gifts and all these different kinds of treasures to King Solomon in order for him to answer all the questions that he has. It says that he was so wise, and the Queen of Sheba asked him all the questions and he answered them. And he didn't just do this for the Queen of Sheba. He did this for the surrounding nations. He was the guru before gurus, for real. And the Proverbs and Ecclesiastes are full of wisdom. And the Bible talks about wisdom being more precious than silver and gold, more precious than rubies. Where putting on wisdom, going and seeking out wisdom is like putting on a fine necklace and being seen by people. And that Lady Wisdom is always calling out to us, and we get a choice to choose wisdom or to choose folly. So a little bit of backstory on Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. And my mentor has challenged me to read a chapter of Proverbs every single day, and literally, like, it is changing my mind. And his reasoning for this is, if you read a chapter of Proverbs every day, you'll be wiser than all your peers in a year. If you read a chapter of Proverbs every day, you'll be richer than all your peers. If you read a chapter of Proverbs for multiple years, 5 years, you'll be a multimillionaire. So that's the reasoning that I go and implement these biblical principles. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, if you are looking to gain in wisdom and in self-awareness and working with other people and building your business and just being overall more stable and wise, Proverbs is definitely the way to go. And we'll talk a little bit about Ecclesiastes too. But Let's start. So we're going to be reading out of Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. And I have 3 different verses that we'll be reading out of today, but starting with Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. Go to the ant, O sluggard, meaning someone who's lazy. Go to the ant. Watch the ant. Go to the ant, O sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler. She prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. And this is so simple and so powerful all at the same time. It's amazing that God has used this tiny little creature to create such a powerful image in our mind. Because basically, what is it saying? Look at the ant, one of the tiniest creatures that creeps and crawls upon the face of the earth, works diligently every day. Not only does the ant work diligently every single day, but he doesn't need any chief, ruler, or officer to tell him or her to get to work. No, they get up and they harvest. They get up, they build their tunnels. They get up and do the things for themselves and for their community, their little ant community, that is going to prepare them for summer, prepare them for harvest. So, what does that mean for our own lives? It means whatever we're doing, and it doesn't matter if you're a business owner, but most people watching this are probably business owners, but in your business, if you're a street sweeper, if you are a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, or whatever it is that you put your hands to do for work, do it diligently. Do it without having to be told. Do it with vigor. Be excellent. Embody the spirit of excellence in everything that you do. And what will happen? Basically, and we'll talk about this in the next proverb, but you'll gain little by little, and eventually you'll look back and be like, holy cow, look at what I've created when I just stepped it out. So putting those blinders on. So often we find ourselves, because the ant's not doing this, the ant isn't worried about the next colony. The ant isn't worried about, hey, are those other guys doing something better than me? No, he or she is working diligently to get it done. And so in this world, we get hit with so many different things when we open Instagram, when we open Snapchat. If you have Snapchat, I don't know if people do that are over the age of 25. If you're opening TikTok, it's constantly, hey, you're doing this wrong. Do this instead. Or, hey, here's a quick, easy button to press in order to excel. And anything worth having is worth working for. And most of those things are hard. So these easy buttons, they're not that easy to press, especially if you're just taking off. Because a plane actually uses 50% of its fuel just to take off, just to get off the ground. And then it uses some of the remaining fuel once it's in the air, once it's floating. So these easy buttons to get off the ground, they're not there. We have to be like that. We have to consider the ant in her ways and be wise. Without having any chief, ruler, or officer, prepare our bread in summer and gather food in harvest. So that means just getting to work and doing the hard work, the boring work, the work that nobody sees, because we're always rewarded in public for the things that we do in private. We're rewarded in public for the things that we do in private. So we have to maintain focus and clarity, remembering why we do what we do. And we hear this all the time. What's your why? What's your big why? You need to have a big, hairy, audacious why. And if you dive deeper into a why, you'll typically find a who. So who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for yourself to become the best version of yourself? If that's the case, we're not worried about the person to the left or to our right. We're not necessarily focused on what other people are doing. We're building this so we can be the best versions of ourselves. If we have employees, we're doing it so we can be the best version of ourselves, so we can lead them effectively. We can lead them courageously. We can be servant leaders versus we got to do this because of X, Y, or Z, because of somebody else. No. So Go to the ant and consider her ways and be wise, making sure we have our blinders on. Shiny object syndrome is real, and I got stuck in it for years. I would go to 3 to 5 events every year, each time coming away with something new that I was going to start. Even though I'm a real estate investor, I buy apartment buildings, I buy multifamily properties, but I would come away saying, oh, I'm going to go do mobile home parks. Oh, I'm going to go do short-term rentals, midterm rentals, flips, wholesaling. And I would start these things, right? I'd use 50% of the fuel just to get off the ground, and then I'd crash. I'd crash and burn because I wasn't learning the lesson of the ant. Get up, do the work, and not the work of somebody else, but my work. And the second part of this is, how long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. Now, this isn't saying to not rest, but what it's saying is, don't be lazy. I've been there. You've been there. Don't be lazy. Because a little fold, oh, I'll just take a break here. Oh, I did this, or, I was so guilty of this. I'd get the 1/3 of a task done, and I'd be like, oh, dude, I'm on the right track. I'm going to go get a snack. And then getting a snack turns into, I got my phone out, and then I just wanted to check Instagram really quick. And then I'm scrolling, and then something else, someone calls me, and because I have my phone in my hand, I answer it immediately. And then I'm texting, and then an hour and a half later, it's like, bro, what in the world? And then I never get back to the original task. Have you been there? I hope that I'm not alone in this. I know I'm not alone in this. So if you can resonate with that, smash that like button, comment down below. Let me know how this is affecting you, how you handle some of these obstacles. But basically what that's saying is, don't rest too much. It's good to work hard and earn your rest. That's why God calls us to take a Sabbath where we don't do any work. I'm not always the best at resting, and maybe you're not the best at resting either, but we are called to do that. And the more, when we rest properly, man, we're going to be energized. We're going to be charged up. We're going to be rejuvenated, refreshed to go again, hard, push it, balls to the wall, baby. Like, let's get it. And so what we're talking about, work, getting to work, doing the work. And then once we're doing the work, we're going to move on to Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11. And this is my favorite right now. This is my favorite proverb because it really is so impactful in terms of how you think about this, not just in terms of wealth, but in everything that we do, building relationships, maintaining stability, self-awareness, control in our relationships, in our personal day-to-days. Like, this verse really shifted a whole lot for me, and it continues to, because I wear it on my heart. God calls us to wear these scriptures on our heart, memorize them, bring them into the forefront of our mind. That way, when situations arise where these are useful, boom, it's right here and I can apply it. That's wisdom. Knowledge is knowing the things. Wisdom is applying the things.